Hello, and welcome to my presentation about Stehekin, Washington. My name is Patrick Dreger, and this presentation is done for my microeconomics class. Stehekin, Washington is a remote but beautiful hidden gem, with a population of about 100 nestled in the heart of the North Cascades National Park in Washington state. While most people have not heard of this little hamlet, Stehekin offers an incredibly unique blend of natural beauty and human resilience. In this presentation, we'll set the stage for an in-depth exploration of Stehekin, from the positive aspects that draw people to live there to its incredibly unique challenges. The economic challenges of Stehekin are incredibly complex. First of all, limited accessibility hampers traditional industries, leading to a reliance on tourism and local enterprises. The absence of a conventional power grid adds another layer of complexity. Residents grapple with energy constraints influencing their economic activities and overall quality of life. Most, if not all, of these challenges are rooted in Stehekin's unique remoteness, lack of roads, lack of a centralized power grid, and Stehekin's lack of phone service. Stehekin's lack of roads is an incredibly large influence on the local economy. Without proper road infrastructure, the town becomes less accessible to goods, services, and people. This can hinder the transportation of raw materials, finished products, and workforce to and from the town. In terms of Stehekin, there are only a few ways to get into the town. The first of these is the ferry system. There are currently two ferry companies that provide service to Stehekin, Lake Chelan Boat Company and Stehekin Ferry. A private boat can also be used. The next way to reach Stehekin is by foot or horseback using the many trails around Stehekin. Lastly, aircraft can land at Lake Chelan or the nearby grass airstrip. The businesses already operating in Stehekin face higher transportation costs. Their ability to only bring limited freight in through the ferry system or by plane is an incredibly limiting factor, slowing down economic activity. Reliance on these specific modes of transportation can also make the town vulnerable to disruptions caused by weather or other natural disaster. Stehekin experiences another unique wrinkle in the situation when the lack of phone connectivity is considered. Because Stehekin is designated as wilderness, the construction of cell phone towers is forbidden. The only way for residents to receive cell phone and internet service until fairly recently was installing a satellite dish, which can be incredibly expensive. The lack of phone services hampers communication within the town and with the outside world. Businesses and residents find it difficult to stay connected. This can lead to inefficiencies in responding to economic opportunities or challenges. This can also lead to businesses struggling to communicate with customers or suppliers, severely limiting their ability to expand market reach. Currently, Stehekin uses a hydroelectric generator to power itself with a capacity of 180 kilowatts, along with two diesel generators with capacities of 75 kilowatts to help with high loads. The dam was first built in the 1940s and has been renovated 3 times since. Hydroelectric power is essential in Stehekin right now due to the fact that they are expected to outgrow their energy supply between 2024 and 2026. Many in the community put this increase in the demand of energy up to residents renting out their properties online or to the new homes being built. And now, some general information about hydropower. Hydropower plants generally include a dam, a turbine used to convert kinetic energy into mechanical energy, a generator to convert said mechanical energy into electricity, and some sort of transmission system used to send the electricity. There are many types of hydropower plants, including impoundment hydropower, run-of-river hydropower. Impoundment hydropower is the most common type of hydroelectric power plant. It involves the construction of a dam to create a reservoir. Water is released from the reservoir to flow through turbines generating electricity. This type often results in the creation of a large water body. Next is run-of-river hydropower. Run-of-river hydropower relies on the natural flow of the river to generate electricity. Water is diverted through the plant, and after passing through the turbines, it is returned to the river. Hydropower is an incredibly clean and renewable energy source with numerous advantages like low greenhouse gas emissions, the long lifespan of hydropower facilities, and that they are incredibly reliable. The disadvantages of hydropower can be the environmental impact on aquatic ecosystems and habitats. Dams can trap sediment and disrupt fish migration routes. While hydroelectric power is often thought of as a clean, harmless source of energy, there are still costs that are paid by the environment and wildlife in Stehekin. Dams like the one in Stehekin can interrupt river systems, delay migration upstream and downstream, and create the need for a fish ladder. When a dam interrupts a river system, it slows the water and warms it, along with disrupting the natural stream process. Delay of migration up and downstream is incredibly bad for fish populations because it concentrates them into small areas where non-native predatory fish have an ideal habitat to prey on them. Additionally, fish ladders are especially tough on salmon populations because they are more successful for adults than juveniles. However, there are also positive externalities related to the use of hydroelectric power, the first of these being reduced pollution compared to fossil fuel power generation. Also, hydropower dams can help regulate water flow, helping control flooding during heavy rainfall. Solar power harnesses energy from the sun to generate electricity. Photovoltaic cells, commonly known as solar panels, convert sunlight into electrical energy. Solar power is an incredible renewable energy source with a range of applications, from smaller residential rooftop installations to massive large-scale solar farms. There are many advantages of solar power. First of all, solar energy is virtually limitless and a renewable resource. Because of the specific attributes of solar power, off-grid solar systems are one of the main ways to get electricity without an electricity grid. Additionally, solar power generation has minimal environmental impact compared to fossil fuels, with no greenhouse gas emissions during operation. Unfortunately, while there are no greenhouse gas emissions during operation, the extraction and processing of materials for solar panels does cause environmental harm. Lastly, once installed, solar panels have incredibly low operating and maintenance costs compared to other types of renewable energy sources, making them very cost effective. One of the main disadvantages of solar power generation is that it depends on sunlight availability, making it intermittent and affected by weather conditions and the time of day. Additionally, the upfront cost of purchasing and installing solar panels can be relatively high, although costs have been decreasing over time. Once solar panels are installed, they cannot be moved, which is also very limiting. Lastly, it has been found that solar energy is less efficient than other forms. In terms of solar power, battery backup technology plays a crucial role in enhancing the reliability and efficiency of solar power grids. Solar power generation is inherently intermittent due to factors such as weather conditions, time of day, and seasonal variations. Battery backup systems address this issue by storing excess energy generated during peak sunlight hours and releasing it when the sun is not shining. Battery backups would give the people of Stehekin much more utility out of a solar power system. There are many externalities caused by solar power. The extraction and processing of materials for solar panels can be considered a negative externality, as well as the impact of large-scale solar installations, which can affect ecosystems. The heart of solar power is the PV cell. PV cell production and the pollution it produces can be considered a negative externality, as many dangerous chemicals are used in the production of PV cells. And now, wind power. Wind power harnesses the kinetic energy of the wind to generate electricity. Wind turbines, equipped with blades that capture the wind's energy, convert it into mechanical power, which is then transformed into electricity through a generator. A regular 2.8 megawatt wind turbine could produce enough electricity to power 100,000 American homes, which would be more than enough to power the area of Stehekin and all of its businesses, current or potential. The largest advantage of wind power is something it has in common with solar and hydroelectric power. It is renewable and produces electricity without producing greenhouse gases during operation. Wind power is also one of the most cost-effective sources of electricity. Once installed, wind turbines have a much lower operating and maintenance costs compared to traditional power plants. One of the biggest disadvantages of wind power is noise and visual pollution. Wind turbines tend to be loud during operation, since there are mechanisms moving as well as a wind vortex that is created during turbine movement. Additionally, if not properly sited, wind power can have negative impact on wildlife and ecosystems. There are three main business structures common in the renewable energy industry. First of all, LLCs, also known as limited liability corporations, provide limited liability protection for members, allowing them to shield personal assets from business liabilities. For example, if a project put on by an LLC runs into financial trouble, the company owner's personal assets are protected from being used to settle those troubles. They also offer flexibility in management and taxation. Unfortunately, the lack of structure in the management of LLCs can lead to potential conflicts. Next, corporations. Corporations provide strong liability protection, and their structure allows for the issuance of stocks, facilitating fundraising through equity financing. During research, it was found that most companies dealing in renewable energy projects use a corporation business structure. The disadvantages of utilizing a corporation business structure include double taxation and a more complex structure and regulatory requirements. Lastly, nonprofits. Nonprofits often engage in research, advocacy, community outreach, and educational programs to promote sustainable practices and drive positive environmental impact. Generally, nonprofits are not involved with the type of project that we are talking about today. For our renewable energy project, we believe that the best business structure option for Stehekin is an LLC or a corporation. We believe LLC would be excellent because of the flexibility in management and taxation, as well as the limited liability protection. Corporation would be excellent because of the possibility of equity financing. In small remote communities such as Stehekin, market structures are often influenced by unique factors. These communities may experience limited competition due to geographic isolation, a small customer base, and logistical challenges. Tourism plays a significant role in Stehekin's economy. Because of this, businesses cater to the needs of visitors, impacting the types of goods and services offered in the local market. With Stehekin being a small and close-knit community that values solitude, the limited population size leads to a smaller market size, leading to challenges in achieving economies of scale for businesses. Most of the businesses in Stehekin were found to be sole proprietorships or partnerships, like the private rental cabins and Stehekin Valley Ranch. However, there are also corporations in Stehekin, with North Cascade Lodge at Stehekin being part of a corporation. During research, the only businesses that were found not to be sole proprietorships or corporations was Stehekin Pastry Company, a limited liability company, and Stehekin Ferry, which is part of Backroad Travels, another limited liability company. In the secluded haven of Stehekin, residents face the intricate challenge of making consumer choices within the constraints of scarcity. The scarcity of resources, whether it be energy, goods, or services, inherently shapes the decision-making process, prompting residents to prioritize needs and weigh trade-offs. The scarcity of resources profoundly influence the purchasing decisions of individuals in Stehekin. Residents must carefully assess and prioritize their needs given the finite availability of goods and services. This prompts a heightened awareness of resource usage, leading to a community-wide emphasis on frugality and sustainability. Because of the inherent remoteness of Stehekin and its lack of well-developed transportation networks, it is incredibly difficult logistically and expensive to move goods and people. Additionally, the lack of internet and telecommunication infrastructure incredibly hinders business operations. As previously mentioned, the small population of Stehekin makes it challenging for businesses to achieve economies of scale. However, most of the business in Stehekin comes from tourists. The natural attractions of Stehekin draw visitors seeking outdoor adventures and a peaceful, secluded environment. While there are many negatives to having a business in a remote locale such as Stehekin, there can be advantages to such a situation as well. The people and tourists of Stehekin have very specific needs and preferences, which creates perfect opportunities for businesses that fulfill those needs. Stehekin Pastry Company is a perfect example of this. Hikers and backpackers generally have their own meals packed, however, always enjoy a sweet treat, and so Stehekin Pastry Company was born. Lastly, government subsidies, regulatory measures, and targeted policies would be incredibly helpful to Stehekin in creating a sustainable economic environment. Subsidies for sustainable energy initiatives would provide the largest boost to Stehekin's economy, allowing more people to live there and increasing market share. Additionally, businesses would be able to utilize this additional energy by being able to introduce new or more efficient technologies, or additional education by utilizing newly available electricity through computers. Due to the location of Stehekin, there are a limited number of options available to consumers. A majority of Stehekin's consumers are tourists, When tourists plan a vacation, they typically require lodging, dining, and activities. There are only three dining options available in Stehekin. There is the Stehekin Lodge Restaurant, there is Stehekin Pastry Company, and also Stehekin Valley Ranch. Due to the limited number of dining options, these companies do better than the lodging companies. The fact that there is only one bakery in the entire town provides them with a monopoly on baked goods. There are 8 different lodging companies in Stehekin, each providing a variety of different accommodations. Environmental impact analysis. Individuals in Stehekin are aware of the limited resources within their community. This awareness serves as a foundational factor in their consumption decisions, which prompts residents to consider the environmental impact of their choices. Tourists may not understand the limitations of the area, but want to support the small businesses that rely on the income from them in order to make a living. Residents prefer locally produced goods to minimize the environmental footprint associated with transportation. Additionally, residents prioritize essential needs over unnecessary purchases, forcing the dining and lodging companies to rely on income solely from tourists. Education provides individuals with knowledge about the environmental impact of different products and consumption choices. Understanding the consequences of consumer decisions on ecosystems, climate change, and resource depletion empowers the individuals of Stehekin to make informed and sustainable choices. Education also plays an incredibly crucial role in changing the ingrained consumption habits, which in a locale like Stehekin are very ingrained. Education can raise awareness about the consequences of unsustainable choices as well as stimulate behavioral change, encouraging the individuals of Stehekin to adopt more sustainable practices. Information and education are also necessary for the residents to provide for tourists who come to Stehekin. Tourists need to be aware of preserving the environment and not using up all the resources in the area. However, supporting the small businesses in Stehekin is essential. The activities of hiking, horseback riding, and biking are all environmentally friendly ways to enjoy the Stehekin community. The Stehekin community is deeply involved in the balance between consumption and environmental preservation. Stehekin needs tourists to continue to support the small businesses. However, when visiting, it is crucial to be aware of the environmental impacts they can have. Implementing awareness programs for tourists and residents, highlighting the delicate ecosystem and unique characteristics of Stehekin is crucial in preserving the current land resources and ecosystem. The intricacies of the issues that the citizens of Stehekin face when it comes to energy, business economics, and consumer choice are incredibly complex. However, with the above information, the citizens of Stehekin can make well-informed choices about their future. First and foremost, the integration of a new mode of energy will revitalize not only the local economy, but also the sustainability of the region. By investing in this new energy mode, Stehekin has the opportunity to position itself at the forefront of sustainable development in the area, attracting environmentally conscious businesses as well as investors. This will allow Stehekin's population to grow beyond what was previously possible, in turn continuing to grow the economy. For a business structure, Stehekin should consider an LLC or a corporation. This will protect business owners in the case of financial challenge or legal issue. In the case of a corporation, this would also help with financing. Finally, education on these topics to the citizens of Stehekin would help the citizens and new business owners make sustainable and environmentally conscious choices regarding their new economy. Thank you.